There are four great dojutsus: the Sharingan, the Byakugan, the Rinnegan, and the Saishugan. There are several other dojutsus that are random offshoots of the originals, but none of them can truly compare to the original 4. For each of the original 4 have a second stage, the second stage being the double-edged sword. The 4 great dojutsus, however powerful, are also incapable of blending. No two dojutsus can create a more powerful hybrid. For when a dojutsu activates, it becomes a permanent part of them, and will be passed on to their offspring. The other dojutsu will remain in the genetic code. But if you activate one dojutsu, you cannot activate the others, even if they are in your genetic code. Each dojutsu has a strength and power that rivals the others. The Sharingan, dojutsu of the Uchiha clan, capable of copying any ninjutsu, genjutsu, or taijutsu, predicting movements before they happen. Being able to hypnotize one's opponent through mere eye contact, a limited ability to see various chakra types through colors. But its greatest strength lies in its second stage, where it gains its 4 hijitsu. The Manjikyu Sharingan Eye, the epitome of the Sharingan cycle, capable of using the black flames of Amaterasu, the eternal illusion Tsukuyomi, the unstoppable warrior Susanoo, and the raging vortex Kamui. But to gain the Manjikyu Sharingan, you must kill the one that means the most to you, whether it is your friend, sibling, parent, or lover. But when you gain the Manjikyu, its power will not last forever. Gaining the Manjikyu causes the user to slowly go blind. Using the Manjikyu even once will accelerate the process. The only one to ever find a way around this was Madara Uchiha. So desperate to keep the power of his almighty eyes, he murdered his younger brother and placed his brother's eyes in his own. His power remained, but he never went blind again, becoming the first Uchiha immortal. The Byakugan, dojutsu of the Hyuga clan, capable of seeing chakra in all of its forms at a much higher level than the Sharingan, seeing things at a telescopic vision, seeing through solid objects, and seeing around oneself at a near full 360 degrees. Like the Sharingan, the Byakugan's greatest strength lies in its second stage. The Reikon Byakugan, the epitome of the Byakugan cycle, capable of using the heavenly archangel, the punishing penance, and the hellish wrath. But to obtain the Reikon Byakugan, you must watch as the one closest to you dies, no matter whom it is. You must watch as the life leaves their eyes forever. Controlling the Reikon Byakugan is a difficult endeavor. Your personality becomes split into 4, the original personality, the heavenly personality, the punishing personality, and the hellish personality. Allowing any of them to gain control outside of one's consent would force the original personality to forever wander purgatory. But using the eye slowly causes the 4 personalities to become one, but becoming one causes the personalities to die and never be allowed to be reincarnated. The only way to avoid this is to defeat all 3 of the new personalities in one's own mind. Only one has ever achieved this. Her name was lost to history. But she did not want the Hyuga clan to ever control this power. She made sure that all future generations of Hyuga were cold and detached to prevent them from ever being close to anyone. The Rinnegan, dojutsu of the Uzumaki clan, capable of using all of the elements, causing a corpse to be able to move again under the identity of the Rinnegan user, and allows one to create the 6 paths of Preta, Naraka, human, Deva, Asura, and animal, each path having his or her depends on the body that the Rinnegan user uses for those paths. Own specialty can also turn deceased animals into a form of summon. The deceased animal will change and warp to become a better tool for what it was intended for. Like all of the 4 great dojutsus, the Rinnegan has a more powerful second stage. The Akuma Rinnegan, the epitome of the Rinnegan cycle, capable of using the sub-elements, including Hayatan, Mokutan, and Yotan, as well as all the other sub-elements, one can also actually place the original soul of someone and bring them back to life, whether it be in their old body or a new one. To obtain the Akuma Rinnegan, you must kill the person whom you despise the most, no matter who it is. The Akuma Rinnegan's power comes at a price, however. By gaining the Akuma Rinnegan, you no longer need to eat, drink, sleep, or do any other necessities of humans, but if you do not, then you slowly begin to wither away into nothing more than a crippled pile of flesh, waiting for someone to either kill you or await until your imminent demise. The only one to find a way around this was the Sage of Six Paths. When he was near the crippling point, he reabsorbed the power of his 6 paths, no longer being crippled, but being in the perfect body. For one his age. He had only one child, but he wanted to make sure that the knowledge of how to gain the second level was lost to time. He left knowledge of only the Rinnegan, not the Akuma Rinnegan. His last surviving remnants were Kushina Uzumaki and Nagato Uzumaki. The Saishugan, Dojutsu of the Namikaze clan, capable of using pure chakra to a much higher extent than a regular shinobi, they usually become incapable of using any element outside of their natural affinities. It can force chakra to take different forms, ranging from that of a shield, a sword, or even a seal. A Saishugan is also capable of recognizing and breaking down seals so long as chakra has been applied to said seal. All shinobi are capable of using pure chakra like one would use a sword or kunai, but with the Saishugan it becomes second nature to them. Just like the rest of the 4 great dojutsus, the Saishugan has a second stage, the Kurai Saishugan. The Kurai Saishugan has the ability to instantly cast seals that have been broken down by the eye, can fire raw blasts of pure chakra with little effort, capable of manipulating the chakra within a jutsu that has already been cast, and warp the energy around oneself to a minimal degree. To awaken this stage, you must watch the person you despise most die, watch as the last trace of life exits their body. The curse of this stage is that you are forever condemned to remember the faces of everyone you have killed or seen die, haunting your nightmares forever. To forget these haunting memories and prevent yourself from going insane, you must learn to let go of the past and find solace. One who succeeded in this endeavor was Minato Namikaze, the last of the Namikaze clan. Minato Namikaze created 2 extremely destructive techniques thanks to his Saishugan. One that only another Saishugan wielder could hope to use. He created the Hiraishin for his family's personal technique, and the Rasengan that only his sensei was able to master without the Saishugan. Minato Namikaze, son of Neutra Namikaze and Hitomi Hyuga. His father was the last Namikaze, but refused to marry someone for anything but love, even if it meant the permanent destruction of his bloodline. He fell in love with Hitomi Hyuga of the Branch family. Their child grew up an orphan because they died fighting in the Second Shinobi War, dying in the other's arms. Minato Namikaze activated his father's bloodline, but refused to marry for anything but love, for the same reasons as his father. He fell in love and married Kushina Uzumaki, the last of the Uzumaki clan. Kushina Uzumaki, daughter of Madara Uchiha and Kazari Uzumaki. Kushina was a child born from rape. After her father had been exiled from Konoha, he went to Whirlpool to start anew. He was so enveloped by rage that when a woman, Kazari Uzumaki, asked if there was anything she could do to help him, he broke her arms and legs before he raped her. When Kushina was born, her mother died in childbirth. Kushina never was able to activate either of her dojutsu. As the clan heiress, she was never put into life or death situations. She didn't know anything about her father until he came to find the child he knew was born there. When she discovered how she was born, she was enraged and disgusted. She used the skills she learned as an Uzumaki and sliced out her father's left eye. Her father wiped out Whirlpool and the Uzumaki clan, leaving only her alive. But before he left, he placed a seal on her. She could pass on her dojutsu, but she would never activate them. Only a Manjikyu Sharingan, wielded by a seal master, could ever remove the seal. She went to Konoha, where she fell in love with and married Minato. Namikaze. The two were on the same genin team. They were unstoppable together. They made friends with the clan heirs. Kushina would talk and hang with every one of her classmates, but Kushina absolutely refused to go near Fugaku Uchiha. All she saw in Fugaku was Uchiha. She did not realize that Fugaku was nothing like Madara. When everyone including Fugaku asked why she did not like Fugaku, she explained with great detail. She explained how her father raped her mother, how she was made the last of her clan because of her father's genocide on the village. When the story was done, Fugaku Uchiha, the heartless genius, broke down crying on his knees begging for her forgiveness for his relatives' misdeeds. Realizing that Fugaku and Madara were nothing alike, she accepted his apology and they all became great friends. When Kushina and Minato married, not even a month later Minato was named the Yandame, and not even 2 months afterwards, Kushina declared that they were expecting a child, as were every one of their friends. They couldn't be any happier. Clan alliances were made between all of them. They called themselves the Clan Heads 9. They all were going to have children around the same time. They sort of planned it out that way. 9 months after the declaration, only Kushina and Hayashi's wife had not yet had their children. It was on this day that the Kyuubi attacked the village under orders from Madara Uchiha. The only way to stop the Kyuubi was to seal the demon, and the only thing that could hold the demon was a newborn child, and the only newborn that day was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. After the sealing, Minato died. Kushina was left in a coma, protected by the most trusted Hyugas. And Naruto became the unwilling host of the very demon his grandfather sent to destroy the village. This is where our story begins. Naruto Uzumaki had the capability to activate the Rinnegan, the Sharingan, the Byakugan, or the Saishugan, but because of Kyuubi's chakra unintentionally leaking into his system, it stunted every possible chance for Naruto to activate his bloodlines. It remained his way, no matter how many times he was in a life or death situation, no matter how many times he was beaten near death, his bloodlines never activated. All that changed during Naruto's first C-rank mission. During this mission, Naruto, thanks to the very demon who caused his suffering, had achieved once thought impossible. He was now the only living holder of the most powerful I bloodline to date. Behold Naruto, of the 4 Dojutsu. Well, how is it so far? Naruto will have a harem. I already have a few people planned to be in the harem, but I am open to suggestions. The planned girls in the harem are Hinata, Femhaku, Iam, Femozing, and Femkyuubi. No, I will not put in Sakura, you #% and %. I refuse to make Naruto seem like a god, but he will be a shitload more powerful. Sasuke and Sakura will be more understanding of Naruto. Kakashi will still not train Naruto during the Chunin exam arc, and Sasuke will not go to Orochimaru for power. Also, Itachi killed most of the clan. Fugaku and Makoto are still alive, as well as Sasuke's older sister by 1 year. The Hyuga elders will not be total pricks, and most of the civilian council will get slaughtered by a very pissed off. Okay, no more spoilers, read the story if you want to find out. The beginning. It was supposed to be a simple C-rank, bring Tazuna the bridge builder to wave. They weren't supposed to be attacked by anyone other than bandits. They weren't supposed to fight ninja, but they did. They were fist attacked by the missing name called the Demon Brothers, then they were attacked by Zabuza Momochi. Kakashi Sensei had defeated him, but before he could finish him off, he was taken by a female hunter Nin, who was really his accomplice. They had trained the whole week to fight Zabuza. They thought they were ready, they were not even close. On the bridge, surrounded by mirrors of ice, was Naruto Uzumaki, holding the dead body of his best friend. Is this the first time you have seen a loved one die in battle? Is this the first time your heart has been wrenched out of its chest? Spoke the false hunter Nin. Naruto just stood there, holding the body of the last loyal male prodigy of the Uchiha clan. No, this was not the first time Naruto had seen a loved one die. This was not the first time he had his heart wrenched from his chest. Oh, how he remembered that incident well. It would forever haunt his memories until his dying breath. Flashback. It was October 10th, Naruto was sitting out in the rain, holding the cold body of a young girl with sparkling blonde hair and piercing green eyes. Her name was Chiyo. She had taken a wound to her that was slowly and painfully killing her. The culprit, a tall blue-haired man, a former ANBU that specialized in assassinations, he had lost his wife in the Kyuubi attack, and hated Naruto for holding the monster. Ha 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 ha, how does it feel, demon, to see someone close to you die? Feel my pain before I do the same to you, monster, yelled the crazed shinobi. Naruto felt rage welled up inside of him. All the rage and hatred that he had hidden over the years was finally released. He wanted to kill the bastard. He tried to hurt him by killing an innocent. He would die. You bastard, I'll fucking kill you. Naruto ran at the man who was unaware of Naruto's attack. Naruto plunged the kunai that the man shoved into Chiyo's arm right into his heart. Naruto shoved the kunai deeper into his heart, staring into the eyes of the man that killed the person he cherished most. He hated the man. He had never hated anything, not hated anyone, more than he hated this man. He had endured Konoha's hatred towards him, so be it. But when he hurt Naruto's only friend, he would die. Naruto watched as the life slowly drained from the terrified and crazed eyes of the bastard shinobi. Join your family in hell, you son of a bitch. Naruto shoved the kunai one last bit into his heart, seeing the last bit of life drain from his eyes. Naruto stood up and ran back to Chiyo's side. No, Chiyo, don't die, please don't die. Don't leave me alone. Chiyo looked up at Naruto. Naruto, please, I don't think I can make it. Naruto, please, kill me. Naruto was horrified. He couldn't possibly kill his precious person. Chiyo, please don't ask me to do that. We can still. Naruto, I'm dying. Please end this pain for me, please. Naruto couldn't believe what Chiyo was asking him to do, but she was in pain. He couldn't stand that. So with great reluctance he raised the blood-stained kunai, Kami-sama, forgive me, and plunged it into her heart to give her a quick death. Naruto-kun, Naruto turned to see Chiyo's beautiful green eyes, seeing the life drain from them. Let me look into your eyes, let me have the sight of our eyes be the last thing I see. Naruto never turned away, granting Chiyo her final wish. He watched as the life drained from his most cherished person, the one he had killed, to end her pain. Naruto swung his head back and roared to the thunderclouds as the rain pelted his tear-stained face. Snoo! The lightning crashed around them as he roared in despair. Naruto, at 11 years old, would never forget what he had done. It would haunt his nightmares forever. Flashback Kai. And now here he was, holding his precious person, just as he had held Chiyo not even a year ago. He could feel the white-hot tears flowing down his face as the red chakra bubbled around him. He could feel the cold, lifeless body of his self-adopted brother and rival. How he wanted to have the power to hurt the damn hunter bitch, how he wanted her to suffer for killing his brother. Little did he know, at that very time, the very demon that caused the damn villagers to hate him so much, was granting his wish. Mindscape, same time. Kyuubi, the heiress of the Kitsunes and the most powerful demon outside of the Kitsune clan leaders, was disgusted. She had been imprisoned in the boy for over 12 years. When she woke up not even minutes ago, she looked at her host's life. She saw every beating that he had endured because that thrice-damned Uchiha had forced her to attack a village that she held no quarrel with. They condemn a child for something he did not control, all because of me. Kyubi sobbed to herself, loathing herself for hurting such an innocent soul. I will make it up to him, but how? Kyubi thought perhaps she could give him a bloodline, but that would cause him to become a Hanyu. She sobbed even harder, hating herself for not being able to make it up to her. She then noticed something. She looked at his family history. She then had the biggest foxy grin on her tear-stained face. I just may have found a way to start making up my debt to you, Naruto-kun. Where the fuck did the Kuin come from? Deciding to leave the thought for later, she activated the bloodlines of Naruto, the 4 great Dojutsus, and gave them a way to be compatible at last. But she was not done there. She made sure that Naruto had all the power he could get from the Dojutsus, feeling that if anyone deserved their power, it was Uzumaki Naruto. She regrettably decided to make Naruto physically relive the memory of his friend's death, to activate the final stages. Naruto-kun, please forgive me for causing you this pain. I feel my debt to you will never be repaid, but I will do whatever I can to make your life better. Knowing that each dojutsu had a downside, she flooded the prepared product with her chakra to purify them. Well, I may have been able to keep himself from making it impossible to use the eyes, but they will still have their downsides. At least the downsides are now only chakra-based. Being satisfied with her finished project, she painfully began the activation process. Naruto-kun, I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me for the pain I am about to cause you. She then began the process, never noticing that her tampering broke the seal that bound her. Back with Naruto. As Naruto was crying, he began to feel pain in his eyes and forehead. It started out small, then erupted into a pain far worse than any beating he had ever endured. He felt his eyes burning, he felt his forehead cracking in 2 places, both of them right above his eyes. He felt the flesh split and blood pour down his face. He clutched his forehead and felt the flesh surround 2 holes in his forehead like they would an eye socket. He then touched the inside of the holes and felt the blood forming together, solidifying, forming some sort of flesh object. He screamed in pain. As his own chakra mingled with the red chakra that he knew was the 9-tailed fox's, he did not notice the chakra coming together nearby him as it began to form a solid object, an object very human-like. All he felt was insurmountable pain. He heard tears of what sounded like sorrow, and he then felt himself be embraced from behind by a pair of arms. He felt the pain slowly die down until it was non-existent. He turned around to see the face of possibly the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. He finally looked down into his puddle of tears and blood to see his reflection. Seeing a 4-eyed blonde staring back at him, Naruto of the 4 Dojutsus was born. First actual chapter. Note that I am a beginner and would greatly appreciate some help with my stories via reviews. Please make suggestions on how I can make the story different. I will be setting up a poll of girls that you think shall be in the harem. My limit will be 5 more girls since I refuse to do more than a 10-girl harem. Finally, I had some writer's block in how Naruto can use all 4 of the eye techniques, with different drawbacks thanks to Kyubi's tampering. Naruto could not believe it, where once he had 2 eyes, he now had 4 eyes. How the fuck did that happen? He did not have time to ponder this thought anymore because he sensed a series of projectiles coming in from his left and right sides. He jumped up and knocked the Senbon away. Wait, he knocked the Senbon away, the class dope who could not even hit the center of the target at the academy, had knocked away a Senbon? I do not know how you managed to do that, but it won't help you. I will fulfill my purpose to Zabuza-sama. Haku then placed her hand in a half Taurus seal and sent hundreds of ice needles in Naruto's direction. Seeing no way to dodge, he hunkered down and waited for the onslaught. It never came. He looked up to see a young redhead, probably only a year older than him. Her body was riddled with the needles that had almost hit him. You bitch. Naruto felt his rage boil. He turned to the one known as Haku, but before he could move a single inch, the ice in the mirrors shattered. What the fuck just happened? Naruto could not be any more confused. First he blocks a bunch of Senbon before he even sees them, then he apparently shattered a Kekkei Genkai just by looking at the user. What's next? Black flames from his eye. How the hell did I do that? With Kakashi and Zabuza. They had both seen what Naruto did. Kakashi was wondering what Naruto could possibly have done to shatter a Kekkei Genkai. Zabuza was incredibly confused. How did this Gaki defeat his daughter's Kekkei Genkai? They stared at Naruto until he looked up in their direction. When they saw his face, they were creeped out and amazed. Naruto now had 4 eyes, each one was different. In Naruto's eyes were the 4 great Dojutsu. In the eye above his original right eye was the Sharingan, in the eye below his Sharingan was the Saishugan, his original left eye was now the white of the Byakugan, and the eye above his Byakugan, he had no idea what it was, but it had a single small black pupil and was surrounded by Vario's rings. He thought perhaps someone else would know about it once they got back to Konoha. But why the hell did Naruto have the Saishugan? The only person he knew of who possessed that eye was, realization dawned on him, Minato-sensei. Zabuza was confused as hell. Haku could never be defeated by a lowly genin. Nobody could break her Kekkei Genkai, it just wasn't feasible. Zabuza stared at the kid and finally realized what the hell happened. The child had the 4 great Dojutsu, and they were in their second stages. That was how he did it. The Rinnegan's second stage allowed one to control the sub-elements to a degree. But how did this kid possess all 4 of the great Dojutsu? Anyone who had heard the legends of the Dojutsu knew they were incompatible. He stopped pondering this when he saw the child turn to the now terrified Haku. No, he would not let his daughter be harmed. Fuck his missing mean bravado, no one hurts his daughter. He rushed towards the boy to protect his child. Back with Naruto. Naruto turned his head to the now terrified girl and walked towards her. When he was only a step away, he felt someone come at him. Completely on instinct, he raised his arm and charged chakra into it, stopping what appeared to be a heavily used guillotine. He turned his head to see Zabuza, but he then turned back towards Haku. The strange thing was when he looked into her eyes, he saw the truths about her. He saw that Sasuke was not dead. He released the guillotine and shoved Zabuza back by pushing the sword. He walked over to the red-haired girl and lifted up her injured form bridal style, causing her to blush a Hinata-style red. Apparently she liked him. Yes, Naruto knew that Hinata liked him, and he himself liked her back, but he was afraid of what people would do to her if she was dating the Kyuubi brat. Naruto began walking towards Kakashi-sensei when he heard clapping. He turned his head to see a short portly-looking man standing in front of what seemed to be about 300 thugs, carrying weapons from axes to katanas. Well, it seems that the so-called demon of the mist can't even beat some 4-eyed genin freak. No matter, my thugs should be able to kill all of you. The one Naruto assumed as Gato then sent a lecherous grin towards the 3 girls on the bridge, but I think I'll keep the little girls, they would definitely prove an exotic fuck. The rest of the thugs licked their lips in anticipation to possibly rape the girls. Oh, by the way, Tazuna, you might want to hand yourself over, especially when I have this. Gato pointed behind him to see Tsunami being dragged up with her son, both in chains. Naruto was about ready to run forwards when he stopped to think. No, I need a plan. How can I get them out of there if they are surrounded by over 300 thugs? But what if only I could take out all those thugs without hurting Tsunami or Inari? Naruto's thoughts were answered when he started to feel a stinging in his top right eye. He looked at the thugs. He saw Kakashi looking at him with a wide eye. But when he looked at the thugs, he saw what appeared to be a swirling mass pulling anything it could grip into it. The thugs started lifting off the ground before they were brought right into the vortex where they were shredded. He saw the blood pour out of the vortex. This continued until only Gato, Tsunami, and Inari were left on the bridge. What the fuck did you do to my menu? ahshh. Gato had looked directly to Naruto, who was running right at him, followed by a very pissed of Kobiriki wielding Zabuza, and a Chidori charged Kakashi. Gato did not even have time to blink. He was kicked up in the air by Naruto. He did not reach the ground before Zabuza leapt up in the air, cutting him in half at the hip. The last thing Gato saw was a ball of lightning being shoved into his face. Naruto was exhausted and fell to his knees. Shit, that took a lot out of me. Hey Kakashi-sensei, can I get a little help here? Naruto did not realize just how much chakra he used using all 4 of the great Dojutsu's final stages. Kakashi was amazed. Naruto not only had the Sharingan, but the Byakugan, the Saishugan, and some other Dojutsu. But the most amazing thing was that his Sharingan had morphed into a pinwheel shape. Naruto had the Manjikyu Sharingan. Naruto's was slightly different yet. Similar to Itachi Uchiha's, Naruto's Manjikyu was shaped like a 3-point curved shuriken. It seemed to have a smaller petal arrangement inside each groove separating the points. Kakashi knew that the Manjikyu Sharingan was extremely powerful, but he wondered who of Naruto's parents had it. Kakashi decided to leave that thought for later. He went to help up Naruto when he was pushed aside and saw Naruto be embraced by Tsunami and Inari, both sobbing. Thank you Naruto-kun, thank you. If you hadn't killed those monsters, we would have been tortured and sold as slaves. I would have been separated from my only child to be used as a sex slave. Tsunami burst into tears while burying her face into Naruto's comforting embrace. 3 hours later at Tazuna's, Team 7, Tazuna, Tsunami, and Inari had arrived at the house with Zabuza, Haku, and the now identified to Kakashi, Kyuubi. They had to carry Naruto because he had overexerted his chakra, much to Sasuke and Sakura's ire and to the joy of Kyuubi. They had just laid Naruto's exhausted form on the couch before the questions started. Alright Kakashi-sensei, why the hell does Naruto have 4 eyes? Why are the missing nin that tried to kill us here, and who the fuck are you? Sasuke was confused as ever seeing the Kyuubi. He was glad he activated his Sharingan, and was amazed that he held his own against the Hunter Nin. Sai Kakashi did not know how to explain this without breaking any S-class laws. What could he say? Naruto has all 4 of the great Dojutsus because he had the Kyuubi sealed inside of his body. Oh yeah, that wouldn't be breaking any laws. Just as he was about to speak, Kyuubi decided to talk. Kakashi-san, I will explain. You can't reveal some of the information that they need. Sasuke and Sakura were confused. What couldn't Kakashi reveal? Now to begin, I will tell you who I am. I am the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Everyone but Kakashi was surprised at this. Here, standing in front of them was the very demon that had destroyed their village. But she seemed so gentle and kind. I am sorry for what I did over 12 years ago. I was not myself. An Uchiha by the name of Madara, he used the power of the eternal Manjikyu to gain temporary control of me and forced me to attack the village. I was imprisoned inside Naruto by your yandere. I never wanted to attack the village. I woke up after 12 years and viewed my host's life. How can humans treat their young so horribly? He was beaten to death on his 5th birthday. How can they be so cruel? Kyuubi was sobbing with her face in her hands. Tsunami was trying her best to comfort her. Sasuke and Sakura were appalled. If Naruto was treated that badly, then why weren't there any scars? Kakashi, if what she says is true, why aren't there any scars? Questioned Tazuna, appalled that someone could do something so despicable to a child. The reason Naruto wears the jumpsuit is because it was layered with hundreds of genjutsu seals that never fade thanks to the special cloth in it. Naruto has scars covering every part of his body. He has been beaten by most of Konoha's population. Sasuke and Sakura were appalled. Naruto endured that. They went to Naruto's sleeping form and removed his bright orange jumpsuit. When They finished removing it. A shimmer went across Naruto's sleeping form to show hundreds of scars covering his whole body. Where Naruto's whisker marks were, there was a large scar in each place, carved in by a sharpened kunai knife. They looked at Naruto's chest to see a diagonal scar leading from the top of his left shoulder to right below his hip. They also saw burn marks that seemed to come from Katan Jutsu. Most of the burns were just rough skin now, but when they turned Naruto onto his back, it looked like he had the Kyubi no Kitsune carved into his back with white-hot kunai knives. They looked at his right arm to show that it had been cut off and then reattached at some point. Not being able to take any more, Sakura ran from the room with tears in her eyes while Sasuke was shivering like a leaf. Kakashi, is this how your village treats its heroes? He saved your village by holding this demon, no offense, in his navel, and they beat him for something he could not control. I am wondering if we should ever hire from Konoha again after seeing what they did to a child. Tazuna was seriously miffed. Here was a child no older than 12 that had been beaten because he was a prison for a monster, narrow-minded fucks. GRNNG, everyone turned around to see that Naruto was now waking up. My head hurts like hell, damn it. Sakura and Sasuke were staring at Naruto. And Haku was wearing a blush seeing Naruto's well-toned chest. Why are you guys staring at me? Sakura handed him a mirror. Thanks, Sakura. CHAAAA, and Naruto looked into the mirror to see four eyes staring back at him. I thought that was a dream. Naruto was now hyperventilating. Tsunami ran across the room and started rubbing her hand on his back trying to calm him down. What the fuck happened to me? Naruto was saying his words in between breaths. Kyubi came forward and began to explain. As soon as the explanation was done, Naruto looked into Kyubi's eyes. He saw she was not lying. I forgive you. Then Naruto asked the question that everyone was wondering. Why the hell do I have four eyes? Everyone looked at Kyubi, who had on an uncomfortable grin. She then told everyone how she went through his DNA and found a way for the Dojutsus to be compatible, as well as the fact his second stage now only caused the major downsides if he overexerted his chakra or used what was left of Kyubi's that was still in her body. At the end of it, Naruto did a very Hinata-like feint. Thump. Kyubi looked from Naruto to the rest of the group and broke out in a huge grin. I think he took that rather well. Everyone's sweat dropped at the fact that the Kyubi was little different than a teenager. They left the room to get to bed, but late that night Kyubi and Haku stalked down stairs to sleep on either side of the now four-eyed Uzumaki. Note that Naruto will not have the drawbacks of the original, but there will be others. With the second stage of the Dojutsu, Naruto will have to help them get through their second stage. Look at poll to vote on the last 5 girls in the harem. I finally managed to get the poll on my profile. Please go to poll for choosing of Kyubi's name. Naruto woke up feeling well rested, but his head was still splitting. He would definitely have to figure out some way to use his new dojutsus without overdoing it. He was going to have a hard time finding a eye to hide them though. He could only imagine the villagers' reactions. Oh God, the demon shows its true colors. Let's kill him instead of understanding him while praising the man who made his life hell. Yeah, that would likely happen if he did not figure out some way to present this to the council. Unfortunately, without any living relatives, there was no way he could prove it. Little did Naruto know that the woman who gave him life was awaking from her 12-year coma. Heavily guarded Hyuga Hospital. Kushina Uzumaki was now waking up and opening her eyes after 12 years of hibernation due to birth stress. She did not know how long she was asleep. She thought she was asleep for a few days. I wonder where Minato-koi is. I can't believe I have been asleep for the past few days. She had thoughts of hugging her husband, hugging her child. Oh my God, Naruto, who has been breastfeeding him. I have to find Her yelling was cut off when the door to her room opened with a shaky-looking man around his 40s, and he greatly resembled Hayashi. Hi, I just need to get out of here. Do you know where my son is? He was born a few days ago, and I was wondering if, could you please stop staring at me? It's kind Kushina. The old man jumped at her and enveloped her in a bone-crushing hug. Whoa there, old-timer, I don't swing that way. Kushina was confused. This old guy knew her and seemed relieved to see her. Who the hell are you? Are you an older relative of Hayashibaka? The old man seemed to gain a twitch in his forehead. Kushina, it's me, I'm Hayashi. Kushina could not believe it. Here was her old academy buddy Hayashi, in his 40s. The last she remembered, he was only 29 years old. She slowly calmed down and asked the question that was now eating away at her. Hayashi, how long have I been in a coma? Hayashi knew that Kushina would not take this well. Kushina, you have been in a coma for near 12 years. Kushina could not believe it. She could not believe it. She had been in a coma for almost 12 years. She had missed breastfeeding her son. She had missed his first birthday. She may have even missed him graduating from the academy if he decided to join. Only one word escaped her lips: Naruto. Back with Naruto. Asho, Naruto sneezed, completely waking him up. Someone must be talking about me. The thought of the villagers popped into his head. He seemed to suffer their ire even when he was out of the village. His thoughts of the villagers stopped when he felt the urge to use the toilet. Knowing that holding it would make it worse, he decided to get up. When suddenly realizing that he couldn't move, he panicked, thinking that he was going to be tortured in some way. Tried to wiggle free to turn his head to the left and see the Kyuubi. So he wasn't dreaming last night. He tried to move the other direction and looked to see Haku. Now, Naruto was really confused. He had no idea what to do in this situation. He had two extremely beautiful girls snuggling under his blanket right up to his chest. He tried to move his hand when he brushed up against something, causing Haku to moan in her sleep. Shocked by the clearly pleasurable moan that Haku made, he looked under the low covers to find that while Haku wore a very thin silky nightgown, Kyuubi was wearing absolutely nothing. He now saw how beautifully fair Haku-chan's skin was. It looked to be as pure as the fairest snow. There was not a single flaw in any part of her soft skin. Kyuubi-chan's skin was also fairly beautiful. It had a slight tan to her skin tone. It looked like a beautiful burnt tan. It had a slightly rougher texture, but it felt so soft to the touch. Naruto was now subconsciously rubbing both of their skin, waking them up. Haku and Kyuubi woke up to find Naruto stroking their skin. This knowledge caused them to blush before sending each other a mischievous grin. So Naruto thinks we feel nice, why don't we return the favor, was the thought that both could see in the other's eyes. Naruto was unaware of what he was doing until he felt a hot breath on his ear coming from Haku. It sent such a pleasurable chill up his spine. Naruto-kun, does my soft supple flesh feel good to you? The clearly sensual question was made even more sensual by Haku grinding her hips into Naruto's thigh, eliciting an even louder moan from her. What about me, Naruto-kun? Doesn't my flesh? Kyuubi grabbed his hand that was rubbing her back and guided it to, does my flesh please? You, she guided it to her sternum right in between her impressive C-cups. She pushed his hand into both of her breasts, causing her to release a moan filled with ecstasy. Don't we please you? Both girls asked with a very sensual lust-filled look in their eyes. Naruto could not take it. He was used to getting beat up on his birthdays, he was used to eating poisoned food, he was even used to being stabbed near to death. This is not something he was used to. Two extremely hot girls were currently using his body as a pleasure toy. Running out of options, he did the first thing that came to mind. Naruto yelled, skyrocketed himself off the fold-up bed and onto the ceiling fan just above him. A trail of blood signified he was trying to contain a nosebleed. Haku and Kyubi looked at each other before bursting out laughing. It's true that they were attracted to the four-eyed blonde, but they did not expect their flirting to do that. They continued laughing until the wall separating the living room and the kitchen was busted down, showing a Kubiriki wielding Zabuza wearing bunny slippers, a Sharingan wielding Kakashi, and Sasuke with both of his eyes activated while wearing a shirt that said "I love tomatoes." The sight that they came across could not be any more disturbing. Haku and Kyubi were either naked or were wearing skimpy clothing. They were wrapped up in a blanket that looked like it had been recently thrown off, and Naruto was hanging from the ceiling, muttering about overly sensual girls and how he was not an Aroshigan. Zabuza was looking at his daughter and back at the twitching Naruto that had just been taken off the ceiling by a very proud-looking Kakashi. Haku, I think it's about time we had. Zabuza was dreading this. Why couldn't her mother do this? Oh, that's right, she was in Konoha waiting for them, the talk with Kakashi. Kakashi could not be any more proud of his student. He had gotten to sleep, not that kind of sleep you pervs, with two absolutely stunning ladies, while technically one was an all-powerful demoness. But both girls seemed to have an attraction towards him. And with his new bloodlines, he could fall under the Clan Restoration Act, meaning multiple wives. Kushina-sama would so kill me for the way I am going to corrupt my student. He knew that Kushina would kick his ass for corrupting any children. With Kushina had just stopped bawling when she felt a strange sensation run up her spine. Overprotective mother senses, tingling. At the mention of the word mother, she went back to bawling while Hayashi and his wife tried to calm her down. Nitara was a beautiful woman. She was a refugee from the Hidden Rain village. Her eyes were a beautiful mauve and her hair was a stunning violet. If Hinata did not have short hair and the Byakugan, the two of them could practically be twins. Albeit one was taller than the other and was extremely possessive of her husband. Being possessive of what they claim as theirs is a problem that most women in Nitara's family have. Hinata seemed to have carried that trait in. Regards to Naruto. Kushina had just been told about everything Naruto had endured, down to the last beating. She could not believe that her son lived through all that. Why didn't you take him in Hayashi? Why did no one take him in? Kushina was angry. The alliance between their clans stated that when one of their own was in trouble, the other would come to assist. Why did none of her friends take Naruto in? Kushina, we tried everything we could to adopt Naruto. But the civilian council and the elders managed to block us at every turn. We managed to hold enough power to keep Naruto from getting executed. But that was as far as we could go. Kushina was now quivering in rage. The council tried to have my son executed. The venom in her voice terrified the room's occupants. Those fuckers are dead. Do you hear me? Doad. Kushina ran straight for the clothes that had been sitting on her bedside and pressed a seal her husband had placed on it and pulled out her special friend. She was now holding the same blade she had used to slaughter 117 IWA and Kumo shinobi that were invading Konoha. This very same blade is what got her the nickname, the Red Death, and now she was going to use it on the fuckers who tried to murder her child. She started walking right towards the door before she was grabbed by her arms by Nitara and Hayashi. Let go of me, I'm going to kill those bastards. Kushina was struggling from being in a coma for the past 12 years. No Kushina, you can't go out here and kill. Fuck you Hayashi, I can't believe you would allow these monsters to go on living after what they have done. Have you never wanted to hell my son? I have wanted to kill the fuckers who dare call themselves human beings for so long. The Hyuga elders and I, the branch house even, were ready to go out and kill half the village for what they did to Naruto, but before we could even leave the compound, Naruto Found out about our plan, he begged Kushina, he begged us to not hurt the villagers, he begged on his hands and knees to forgive them. We wanted so badly to go out and kill every person who harmed him, Kushina, but we saw that doing that would only hurt him more than he already was. Kushina stopped struggling, she turned to face Hayashi. How Kushina was confused, how could he stand them after what they have done? Kushina, this time it was Nidera who spoke. For some reason or another he sees the village as precious to him. He often talks about how great his family must be, but he sometimes wonders if they abandoned him. If he saw you, his own mother, after so long, kill every villager who had ever wronged him, Naruto would go insane. He would more than likely run away from the village and hang himself for the dogs to eat, before coming near you. The conflicting emotions just would not process properly in his brain. Kushina remained silent. She was right. If her child saw her do such a thing, his own mother, killing anyone he viewed as precious, he would kill himself to relieve him of his mental torment. Kushina broke into tears, thinking that she had failed as a mother in every way. Back with Naruto. Kakashi-sensei had just finished giving him the talk. Did sensei really have to use his damn perverted book for reference? He saw Haku walk out of the room with Zabuza before she started blushing tomato red at the sight of Naruto. Naruto was not faring much better. He could not even look in Kyubi, Sakura's, Tsunami's or Haku's directions without having to cover his nose to stifle a nosebleed. He walked into his room and decided to check out his wardrobe. He was still wearing the same Kill Me orange jumpsuit. He loved the jumpsuit, not because it was orange, but because it was the first and only gift he had ever received. He knew it was from Kurenai and Anko. The two of them always were looking out for him when he was a child. He knew that they thought he was cute. Every time he looked into their eyes he saw a weird sparkle, the same time he saw, in Hinata-chan's eyes. The realization hit him, the Genjutsu Ice Queen and the Snake Mistress loved Naruto. But why? With Kurenai and Anko. ACHO, both of the beauties sitting at the table sneezed. Whoa, someone must be talking about us, was Kurenai's reply. I wonder if it's Naruto-kun, bad Kurenai, he's 8 years younger than you. But still, Kurenai was depressed. She had fallen in love with Naruto. When her and Anko made him that orange jumpsuit for him when he was 7, she was only 15 at the time, so she had no idea that spying on someone that young in the shower was a bad thing. When she heard about pedophilia happening on the other side of the village, she was ashamed of herself. She tried to forget her feelings for Naruto, but she couldn't. She had fallen for the blonde fox boy. Anko was in the same boat. She remembered how she fell for the little Gaki who was 6 years her junior. She remembered that it was thanks to Naruto that she still had her innocence. Flashback. Anko had just been declared innocent by the Hokage for being a traitor and was now walking to her new apartment. She was just about to unlock the door when she was grabbed by her arm and then thrown into an alley. She looked up to see the faces of the council members who were adamant in her execution. They were wearing very lecherous grins. So the snake whore thought she could walk home alone without being assaulted. You may be allowed to live by Hokage's word, but we are still going to punish you. But we are going to have lots of fun out of it. The three councilmen, who were probably in their late 30s, were advancing on Anko, who was no older than 10. Anko was scared, she was so terrified. I'm going go first, ITHNSINED's a good FUCK, the fat and drunk council member started advancing on her faster, but before he could reach her, he was tackled to the ground by a bright blonde flash. The blonde-haired street rat, who seemed no older than 4, then proceeded to punch the councilman hard enough in the face to make some serious damage. You bastard. Smash how smash dare smash you smash dio smash something smash so smash disgusting smash. You smash lollicon. The blonde-haired Gaki then grabbed the councilman's hair and used his adrenaline-pumped body through the fat ass across the alley into a bunch of garbage cans. Just as Naruto was about to go finish the fat ass off, the other two councilmen ran towards him. Not wanting to see him get hurt, she grabbed a nearby trash can and threw it at their heads, forcing them to smash into the brick wall, killing them instantly. He started getting up before she saw that the blonde Gaki had been thrown across the alley with a kunai embedded right next to his heart. The fat counselor then ran over to her and grabbed her by her throat. "I was going to let you live after I fucked you, BDTSMS I ain't having that luxury, ani less words before I His sentence was see you off when the blonde Gaki sliced at his ankles, forcing him to fall over. Anko had fallen down but was too in shock to move. The blonde grabbed a nearby wrench that seemed too big for him to possibly pick up, but adrenaline does wonderful things. He then took a couple kunais and stabbed them into the portly man's hands. Please haha have murky A kunai knife was shoved into his spine to keep him from squirming. You begged me for mercy when you were about to rape her. I got a newsflash for ya, I'm all out of mercy. Die you fucking bastard. Blondie raised the giant wrench above his head before he brought it down right on that asshole's head. New crunch. The wrench had crushed the guy's skull, but his body was still twitching. When Naruto realized what was going on and what he had done, he fell backwards, eyes wide open. Blondie was having trouble staying upright. Hey Gaki, thump, Gaki. Shit kid, don't you die on me, don't die. Anko was sobbing at this point. This Gaki, that did not even know her, was risking his life to save her innocence. Grnnn, the blondie was opening his eyes. Yes, okay kidum, my name's Anko, what's yours? His eyes were starting to flutter again. Gaki, what is your name? The blondie could barely speak, and Naruto, my name is Naruto. Anko was relieved that the Gaki could speak. Okay good, now Naruto, I need you to stay awake for me, can you do that? Ank was scared beyond belief. The only thing she had been taught by Orochimaru were combat jutsus. She did not know much about medical jutsu. Look Naruto, I am going to perform some first aid, this will hurt, okay? Naruto nodded for her to go ahead. The first thing she had to do was rip out the kunai knife. She looked at the Gaki as she ripped it out, he barely flinched. The idea that he had enough pain tolerance to be able to barely feel a kunai being ripped from his chest was terrifying. What have you gone through to become so strong? She had no more time to ponder this, she had to dress the wound now. She spent the next 5 minutes making quick stitches in the skin to slow the bleeding while applying pressure. Not even a minute after finishing the stitching, a young Irika found the alley and saw the 3 bodies, Anko covered in blood, and the demon brat. Noticing the sneer that Irika was sending at the boy, she instinctually hugged him close to her chest. The demon brat has killed people. Hand him over so we can end this monster once and for all. No, he saved me, he's a fucking demon girl, he killed my parents, he has to die before, / Irika's sentence was cut off when Anko lashed him across the bridge of his nose with the same kunai knife that was in Naruto's chest. Not another word. This was not the usual Anko. The usual Anko was scared and submissive. This was cold and ruthless, a true shinobi, brought out by her desire to protect the one who saved her innocence and life. Before she could make another move to hurt the scarred genin, 2 ANBU showed up and began to advance on her. Not trusting anyone tonight, she brought Naruto closer to her chest while holding a kunai at the ready just in case. Ms. Mitarashi, we need to take him to the hospital. The silver-haired ANBU member tried to pry Naruto from her grip, but she refused to let go. Please Anko, we need to, no, I am going with him, I am not letting him get hurt. The 2 ANBU looked at each other before nodding. The large bear masked ANBU then picked up both Naruto and Anko, neither one letting the other go. They then jumped off into the distance to the hospital. About halfway there, Naruto woke up and stared into the beautiful purplish tan eyes of Anko Mitarashi. Pretty was all Naruto said before passing out again. Anko began to blush. Did he just call me pretty? She looked at the whisker marks of the poor Gaki. She felt a warm feeling in her chest. For the first time in months, Anko smiled. She snuggled into Naruto even more. Naruto-kun, yes, Naruto-kun. The ANBU could only smile at this scene. Anko and Naruto, both outcasts looking for acceptance, it couldn't turn out any better. Kai. Anko could not help it, she had fallen for the Gaki the day he saved her innocence. She had so badly wanted to go up and tell the little Gaki how she felt. She knew Kurenai liked the kid as well, and she was curious as to why that was. Kurenai said Genjutsu mistress turned her head. Why do you like Naruto? Kurenai blushed at this and looked away from her longtime friend. Come on Kurenai, you know why I like the Gaki, but I never found out why you liked him. Two of them had been friends for years. Kurenai at one time did not care either way about the boy, until she saw the scars that riddled his body. She began stalking the boy whenever he was home. She remembers the time that she and Anko had made the orange jumpsuit he wears so much. Flashback. Naruto had just woken up. It was now October 10th, his birthday, and he was now 6 years old. He wanted to go to the academy, but he didn't want anyone to see his scars. If there was one thing Naruto could not stand, it was definitely pity. He had just finished washing his toothbrush in boiled water and went out to the living room, where there was a square package. Outside Naruto's window was Kurenai Yuhi and Anko Mitarashi. They knew that the Gaki did not have any skills in Genjutsu, so Anko made a specialized jumpsuit out of a lightweight, durable fabric, while Kurenai applied everlasting Genjutsu seals. They had made the jumpsuit and placed it in the middle of his living room inside a square cardboard box. They were now watching as he picked up a long stick from behind his furniture and started poking the box before jumping behind the furniture. Wow Anko, when you said this kid was paranoid, you were not kidding. Kurenai had never seen anyone, much less a 6-year-old, act so cautious of a present. They watched him repeat the process at different angles until he went to the box, threw off the top, and ran back behind the furniture. He slowly walked towards the box with the jumpsuit in it. He pulled it out and then, just like a curious animal would, he played with it. Kurenai had to stifle a giggle that threatened to come out. When he was done playing with it, he decided to try and put it on, but then there was knocking at his door. He looked around for a place to hide. The only place it could go was out the window. He ran to the window and threw it out, hoping it would catch on something. Kurenai and Anko were furious for a second seeing him throw it out the window, until they saw 3 old drunks barge into his house and destroy everything that he owned right before they tried to beat him. Unable to take any more, they jumped through the window and kicked all of the drunks' asses. They then went and grabbed Naruto and ran to the hospital. Late that night, they go back to check on Naruto in the hospital, only to find a trail of blood leading back to his apartment. They followed it all the way up to Naruto's apartment, to find him sleeping on the floor with the same jumpsuit that they had made. Kurenai was astounded. He risked blood loss for a gift. She saw him stir as he opened his eyes. He looked into her crimson orbs. He said a single word to describe the angel he saw: beautiful. Kurenai was blushing. The boy had just called her beautiful, but he wasn't being snide about it or trying to get into her pants. He said it because he genuinely thought that Kai. They had both fallen hard for the Gaki, but they knew they could not share him unless he somehow came back from a mission with Akekiai Genkai. He was going to be allowed only one wife. How lucky they were that that was the current case. Arrow Shigen Pervy 4 Eyes. Kubiriki Zabuza's Sword.